Hey, you may have heard me talk about a book that's coming out relatively soon, but you might want to know some more details. That's what this video is all about. Hi, my name is Brendan, hopefully you know that by now, and I'm here to give you all of the leadership and career secrets in the age of information overload that nobody is actually going to tell you. That's the essence of my book. So just want to go through some key questions so that you can understand who it's for, what it's about, how it works, all that sort of good stuff. But before so, please do click the like button and also click the subscribe and notifications. Just means that you will get all of the latest content the moment it is released, even if you are still catching some Zs. With that, let's dive into the first question. Why did I write this book? The simple answer is I don't believe anything really exists in the marketplace at the moment. It's actually focused on you and I. It's not about trying to disseminate the habits of billionaires and these high performers and those that have been given a head start in life. It's actually about helping the everyday person. That's you and me. Those of us that go to work every day to grind out and to get better and to succeed. It's easy to look at people like Sir Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos and all of the people that people like Tim Ferriss have spoken to and think, oh, you know what, I'll just disseminate those habits and I too will become a billionaire. That may be true, and I genuinely hope that you make it. But what happens if you can't identify with those people? What happens if you just want to get 1% better every day in the work that you do, in your environment, and in your life? Those habits might not actually make any sense. That's why I wrote the book. I'm not special. I've learnt things the hard way, and I've disseminated the information I've learnt from others, that I've learnt the hard way, and that I've actually just discovered myself. More importantly, it's to pay forward what I've learnt to the future generations. And I know that sounds really grand and sort of philosophical. But to be honest, information, I believe, and knowledge should be shared. That's why it's up to me to impart to you what I've learned so that hopefully you will learn and then pass on to the future generations. So why did I write it? Because people should know. And I want you to have the secrets too. So that's why I wrote it. Why am I qualified to write this book? Good question. I've been where you are. I've wondered, how will I succeed? How can I get there? How do I get noticed? How do I get promoted? How do I move my career forwards? The honest answer is if you think back to your careers advice at school, the chances are it probably wasn't very useful. Unfortunately, that's the harsh reality. So as I sit here now, why am I qualified? Well, I've had a number of careers that I've had over the last 2 decades of working, and I'm here to help articulate to you why it's useful. I qualified as an accountant, so I've been through the professional qualification route post-university. I've had a career break to undertake entrepreneurial ventures and study further. I've done jobs that I thought were the right choice but were deeply unhappy. I've also been fortunate enough to have a job that I really enjoy. The takeaway for all of this is I believe that the old career path route is dead. I will go into it in a different video, but it means that you've had to forge your own path. Now, I did see a billboard in South Africa when I was on my gap year that said, if there's no path, create your own. And that phrase has really stuck with me. And that's why I've written it. I'm qualified, I believe, because I've experienced the hardship of going through exams and not thinking it's worth it, only to realize that it is at the end. I've also been sat in meetings where you can see how the power struggles go on and think, well, how would I approach that situation? More importantly, how do I sit in that seat? That's why I think that I'm qualified to write this book. It also builds on my experience that I've had outside of the workplace. I've completed an Ironman triathlon, and I've also completed the Pikes Peak Marathon Mountain in Colorado, which runs up to 14,000 feet. That was pretty brutal. I've done Land's End John O'Groats. There are a number of things that I've undertaken which are really big challenges. The lessons I've learnt on that, I've been able to disseminate into the book. I've also become a life coach. I understand the challenges that you are going through. You might not realize it, but we're all in this together. The skills that I've learned from understanding what the problem is and how we break that down into tackling it here and now is just one small part of why I wrote the book. But it's actually to give you the inspiration and confidence to get ahead. What am I going to get out of this? Well, in actual fact, if I help one person, winner, chicken dinner. That is brilliant. But if I don't write the book, you will never know. And I genuinely hope you watch these videos and take away some really interesting insights, but the book is designed to help pay it forward. So I've had a relatively varied career and I've worked across financial services, technology, media, travel, all those sorts of things. But taking the lessons learned from that to help you become a leader and succeed in your career, that's what I'm trying to achieve. Who is this book for? I believe it would have been for me when I was 20. I wrote it for my 20-year-old self. So taking that on board, it means that if you are starting out your career, this book is for you. If you want to take your career to the next level, you want to break through the promotion barrier, this book is also for you. Also, if you are more established in your career and you've been a leader for a long time, I believe this book is also for you. Even if it is just to ensure that you know the lessons that I'm teaching. One of the most important things to remember as we grow older is we've got to keep learning. We don't know it all. So, if you can take away one thing from my book that you didn't know before, I'm happy about that. So who is this book for? It's for those of you starting out your career, you want to take your career to the next level, or you just want to make sure that you are fully aware of how everything happens in the business world to give yourself the best chance to succeed. If that's you, you need to read it. Why do you need to read this? Well, as I've alluded to earlier, it gives you the lessons that I've accumulated and learned both the hard way, that I've discovered, and that people have told me. It's easy to sit here and wax lyrical about how you're not given the right opportunity or somebody else keeps getting ahead for you. But the point is, it's up to you. The only person that you can hold accountable for either doing or not doing is you. That's why you need to read this book. The life lessons I've learned from going through my career, the hardship and the experiences of taking on endurance challenges, the lessons I've learned from dealing with clients from a life coaching perspective, the lessons I've learned from the boardroom and experiencing the hard way are also here. Did you know that the power of silence is one of the key skills as you become a leader? Knowing when to shut up. That is key. Far too many people will just start speaking and break the silence, and that's actually when you generally give away more than you realise. I learnt it the hard way. I've written in the past about how when I started out my career, I sat in front of a partner and he asked me a question and I gave an answer and was just greeted with a wall of silence. Immediately I felt uncomfortable and thought, shit, I need to fill this. I need to prove that I know what I'm talking about. And I just started blabbering away. In actual fact, I gave away more than I realised, and I probably didn't say quite the right thing, at which point he picked up on it, and it generated more work, and it really was quite unnecessary for me. You only learn those things when it happens, or you read about it. Hence, why the book? If you didn't know about how silence works, at least you do, but I dive into it in more detail in the chapters, so there's one for you. How is the book structured? It's split into 3 parts. Each part dives into a different aspect. Why we do things, how we do things, and what we do. The exact section names will probably be slightly different, but they're the ethos around how the book is structured. Within each chapter, it is designed to be read standalone, so you could just pick it up, flick through the one that is particularly relevant for the topic that you want to learn about, and then put it down. Happy days. But conversely, if you want to read it from cover to cover, it will give you the full picture of everything that I want you to know. Not only that, each chapter is filled with an easy to understand and real life analogy. I'm sure you've seen in the past, you see these business books or these self-help books and they go into all this sort of theoretical nonsense and you think, God, yeah, whatever. The reason for pulling in an analogy is I want you to be able to understand what I'm talking about. It's easy for me to sit here and just talk at you, or you read and you just think, what on earth are you going on about, Brendan? Well, that's why the analogies are important. They're an easy way to understand the essence of the chapter and what I want you to take away. There'll also be takeaways. How do you then apply it to your life. That's hugely important. As we've talked about in the past, learning is great, but action wins. So you need to be able to take what you've learned and apply it to your everyday life. So that's a bit of a sneak peek as to how the chapters are structured and how the book looks. And the final question that I'll address now is, when is it coming? And the answer is soon. So if you want to be the first to hear about it and perhaps read a first chapter for free, please do click the link below, because I want you to know what I'm doing. I want you to understand and benefit. I want you to be able to succeed in your careers. That's why I've written the book. So, that's it. Working title: Why Did No One Tell Me This? Leadership Secrets in the Age of the Information Overload. That's a little bit of an insight into my book, why you need to read it, what it's all about, and how it works. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe. Do leave me any comments if you have any questions. But with that, I will see you in the next video.